Friends, we are at the 8th session of 1-2 Flex. I am feeling so good. Let me know how you're feeling as we're going through these. Just drop a comment down below. But today, or tonight even, we are going to get into some hips and inner thighs, which honestly kind of my favorite because the inner thighs, they always get really tight, especially when we're sitting a lot. But I really love working on my middle splits. And even if you do not want to get your middle splits, the inner thighs are muscles we don't normally stretch. So it is really good to stretch them out. So let's just dive right in. Yeah. We're going to go into just a few stretches like every other session of 1-2 Flex. We don't really need any props. If you want to have blocks around, you're welcome to, and I will let you know when and how to use them. But otherwise, we are going to get started standing and make our way down to the ground, yeah? All right, so let me scoot on back. You know what? I'm going to just tilt my camera just a little bit down. We're going to go for a nice wide stance here. We're going to do a little bit of a horse stance. Get into the shoulders because why not? So what's going to happen? We're going to have our toes pointing out to the sides. We're going to squat it down as far as it feels good. Okay, this is kind of our starting position. We're going to make it dynamic though. So I'm going to bring my arms in front of me. I'm going to inhale them up, straighten out my legs. Exhale it back down. And again. Yeah. So as we do this, really think of squeezing your glutes, pushing your knees back behind you via squeezing your glutes. Yeah. All right. Let's just do one more. Good. All right. Bring those arms down. We're going to go into some lateral lunges, and I'm going to give you an option here. You can go really deep with it and do a Cossack squat, or you can stick with classic lateral lunges. So for, I guess both of them, toes are pointing forward. I am going to bend one knee, push my butt back as I bend into this knee. My chest does come forward. I come up and switch. Okay, hands can just be in front of me, beside me, whatever feels good. And we're just going back and forth. Now, if you want to go for the challenge, you can go into a Cossack squat that's going real deep, pushing up, other side. Yeah, a little bit more challenging. So I want you to pick what feels good for you as we just build some heat in our bodies. Good. Remember to really sit your butt back so you get a little bit of stretch in the adductor, the inner thigh of the straight leg. Good, breathing deeply. One more each side. I bet if you're doing those Cossack squats, you are so happy we are done those. All right, so you can bring your feet a little bit more together here. We're going to go into a wide-legged forward fold. So I am going to adjust my camera for this, just so you can see my feet a little bit better as we get into it. We do have the option of having blocks in front of us. We can also use a chair if we wanted. Soft bend in the knees, toes are pointing forward or a little bit out if that feels good for your anatomy. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, fold at the hips. Hands come to chair, blocks, floor, even your legs, whatever feels good. All right, so just take a moment here. Shimmy your hips a little bit. Check out however you think feels. And we're going to go into some cues for this fold. So if your knees are still bent, that is perfectly fine. I do have mine straightened out though, because my hamstrings are feeling good this evening. So that's optional. Bent knees or straight, that's up to you. We are going to push our weight forward in our feet. Okay, so you probably might notice you're pushing your weight into your heels. Push it forward, okay? So pushing the weight of our feet forward. We have our knees checked in. We're going to arch the tailbone to the sky. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale, maybe lift my torso up just like, a quarter, an eighth of an inch. Exhale, bend my elbows, release my neck. Good. I also want us to think, in addition to all of these cues, our inner thighs squeezing together. So what you may notice, I'm wearing dark pants here, so maybe not, but I'm engaging my quads, and I like to think of my kneecaps being pulled up to my hips to help engage them, and that's also helping engage my inner thighs. Okay, so I want you to hold here just a little bit longer. Good. I'm going to slowly let my hips shift side to side. Legs are not bending or straightening, they're staying still. Just the hips wiggling my tailbone. It's actually giving us a self massage in the hip sockets. Yeah. So I always find that feels nice. But when you're ready, I want you to bend your knees nice and deep, sit it back, roll it up, nice and slow, vertebra by vertebra. We are going to come down to the ground for our next movements. So first up, frog. Now, frog pose can be intense. Again, it's stretching the inner thighs. They're muscles we don't normally stretch. So being mindful of that, make sure your knees are protected and make sure you're not going too far. You're listening to your body. So I'm going to give you kind of like a diagonal view. You can kind of see what's going on here. I am going to have one knee off my mat, but make sure for you, both of your knees are on your mat. Maybe even adding a pillow or something for them. And you can even have a pillow or bolster for underneath your chest. Same goes with blocks that can be underneath your hands or chest for that. So I'm going to start in a tabletop position, and then I'm going to slowly walk my knees out. Of course, because I have one leg that can slide open because I'm on that floor, I will let it, but you may just have to keep walking your feet out. That is fine. And I'm going to flex my feet. And I'm going to have to look over my shoulders here. And I want to see 90-degree angles all through my legs here. Now, the more upright we are, the more intense the stretch. So this is why I do suggest bringing your forearms to the blocks or the floor, grabbing a pillow, putting it underneath your torso, and just breathing nice and deeply through this, okay? This is an intense stretch, so please be mindful. You do not have to hold it as long as I'm holding this, okay? So I'm going to give you a little bit more of a side view just so you can see both my legs here. Okay, if you find this is a lot, you can opt for a half frog. Half frog, so I'm only showing you only if you really want to, otherwise stay here. You just straighten one leg out, the other leg stays in the frog pose, okay? Otherwise, we go for full frog. And we're not gonna hold it too much longer because it has been a minute. So go for another 4, 3, 2, 1. You can either just slide forward and shimmy your legs together, or if you feel good, bring your legs in. Ooh, all right. We are going to do 2 more moves here. First here is our butterfly. Now, couple notes. You can put blocks underneath your knees. You can sit on blocks or a pillow to lift your hips up. Okay, and your feet can be as far forward or as closest to you as you want. So I am going to hold on to my shins here or my calves, whatever feels good. And I'm going to think of squeezing my glute muscles again to push my knees down. So if you even watch here, that's just using some muscle engagement. That's all we're going to do. And of course, we can go a little bit further by using our arms, pushing into the legs, and get a little bit more open. Okay. Breathing deep. If you feel comfortable to fold forward, you can. We're not going to hold this one for too long because I want to get that final stretch in and make it nice and juicy for us. All right, let's breathe one more nice deep breath. I want you to bring your legs open into a wide V, as wide as it feels good. You know what, let me backtrack a little bit. Not as wide as it feels good, but think 80% of whatever your 100% is, okay? Of course, that 100% is going to look different for all of us. It may be nothing like what I'm doing, and that is okay, all right? We're going to go for our pancake here. Now, this is technically a type of split, all right? So traditionally, pancake split, just so you know, and watch first, you don't have to go into it with me, is bringing your whole torso down, flat to the ground like a pancake. We're not going to go that far unless you feel real good today. What we are going to do is we're going to, why not flex our feet, toes pointing up to the sky, which means our knees are pointing up to the sky. We're going to think of tilting our tailbone. So think of the morning when we had our core class and we were pushing our tailbone into the ground, finding an arch in our lower back. That is what we want. So our tailbone's reaching away from us. We are already hinging forward because of that. Bring your hands in front of you to the ground. You can also have them to blocks, all right? And same as butterfly, you can have blocks underneath your hips to lift them up a bit. So you don't have to go walking your hands forward every little bit unless that feels good. I would rather you focus on the hinge and just your torso coming forward, okay? So keep thinking of your spine nice and long, breathing deeply. Exhale, see if you can go a little bit further. And again, inhale. Exhale, try and go a little bit further. 2 more times, nice big inhale. Exhale further. Last one. As far as you feel comfortable, it may not be anywhere where I am, and that is totally fine. Okay, just breathe. If you want to try walking your hands out, see how that feels, you're welcome to. Keep flexing your feet. Knees are still pointing to the sky here. Go for that final 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your time coming out of this. Walk your hands in and use your arms to gently bring your legs in. Give them a nice little shake. That does bring us to the end of our hip openers and inner thigh stretches. So let me know how you're feeling. I know my hips are feeling nice and good now after that time. Of course, thank you so much for joining me again for 1-2 Flex. We have one more day tomorrow. Ooh, it's going to be good. It's all about more full body movements, making sure we're feeling good going into the weekend. And just to note, because I'm not someone who wants to stay up all night just to turn on a web page, my Black Friday sale for the garden is live now, okay? So definitely check it out. Just go to flexibilitywithvera.com/Black Friday. I always get confused by the backslash, but hopefully that's right. It's in the link down below. We're good, right? All right, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings. Please drink some water, get some rest, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All right. Bye now.